to this program and you know that I love pets. You know that my beloved Dolce, a Maltese, who was my best friend in life, died about 2 years ago. I'm still not over it, and I don't know if I'll ever get over it. But I am holding in my hand an amazing product. Let me put this up for the camera, and I'm going to introduce my guest in just 1 second. And it's called Dr. Fido's Dog Topper. Vitamins, I believe, we're going to get the full story, for dogs. And I truly wish this was around for my dog, because maybe Dolce would still be with me. And when I say to you, Dr. Howard, and I'm going to get to your bios in 1 second, when I say to you this Maltese was my best friend, he was my best friend. I loved my dog more than 90% of humans. And so now I still have on me cat hair from my cat Beyonce, who's home right now. And also we have our turtle Ricky, and we have our parakeet. And so where am I going with all of this? I want to introduce Dr. Douglas Howard. You know who he is, Balance of Nature, and Dr. Jake Van Dyke. They're here to talk about their new dog health product, Dr. Fido's Dog Topper. And so I want to, and it's a plant-based blend of fruits and veggies to boost your dog's health, digestion, energy, and you just scoop, stir, and serve. So I need to set this up, guys. Bear with me 1 second as far as your bio. So Dr. Howard, I'll start with you. You're to my right. In terms of you are the founder of Balance of Nature and Dr. Fido's. You are a professor, a medical researcher, a chiropractic physician, and your journey into medicine began as a teenager working in emergency rooms, driven by a passion to help others. You studied both in the U.S. and Russia, where you saw firsthand how nutrition impacts health. And today, Dr. Howard is a recognized expert in plant-based nutrition and continues to share his message worldwide. Your partner on this project, Dr. Jake Van Dyke, is a respected veterinarian who grew up on a family dairy farm where he developed a deep love for animals. He earned his veterinary degree through Utah State and Washington State University regional program, all while working as a firefighter. That explains the great health. That explains it, Dr. Van Dyke. Horse trainer and vet tech, Dr. Jake is known for his expert care of small and large animals. He's also the co-author of Dr. Jake's Veterinary Adventures and a proud husband and father of 5. So, again, I'm holding the product here, gentlemen, and I just want to throw this out there. What is Fido's Nutrition?
Okay, phytonutrition is really important, and that's okay. I got to go back to the name because it's spelled P-H-Y-T-O.
Right.
Okay, and people are like, what?
Right.
I thought you spelled Fido F-I-D-O, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
okay, I played with the words.
Right.
Anyway, so phytonutrients, phyto is Greek for the word plant. And nutrition is it's the nutrition of plants. And it's condensed, dense nutrients. And that's the key. Because we can talk to the vet here all day long about how today's dog foods, for example, cat foods too, I hate to say it, a little better, I think, in cat foods, that's my opinion, but the nutrition in dog food is horrible.
Really?
And, yeah, it's really hard to get a decent dog food. Yeah,
if you look at a label on a dog food, you read those ingredients, and 90% of them are things you've never heard of. A lot of them, the dog can't digest. They're just poor quality, and they're cheap. Unfortunately, sometimes money is part of the issue. We can only afford what we can afford, but there's a big problem in commercialized food.
What would you say the number one cause of diseases in dogs is?
It's poor nutrition.
Wow. So it starts just like humans. It starts with the diet.
Well, and you think about it. We're always told, don't feed your dog the dog scraps.
Right.
Well, how would our health be if we ate scraps from the table?
Right.
And it just wouldn't be there. And so this is nutrient dense. That's the key. No added chemicals. There's not a single chemical from a test tube in this. It's 100% whole. It's 100% whole fruits and vegetables, and the only thing that's removed is the water, and so it's a dense nutrition that we can put on there that helps the cell all the way down to the DNA.
Wow. Dr. Van Dyke, why did you two partner on this?
The reason I partnered with Dr. Howard on this goes back to what you were saying about the relationship you have with your dog. How much I could tell how much you loved your dog, and you had an immense responsibility for his care. And that same passion that you have is what I have. And you get tired of dogs coming into the veterinary clinic every day with all of these problems that could be greatly helped, and if not eliminated, with better nutrition.
And Dr. Jake Van Dyke, I have a copy of your book that I'm holding up right here, A Day at the Animal Shelter. And, we're talking about this amazing nutrition for dogs. And again, I really do wish it was around when my dog was still here. And the reason why I say that is because no matter what happened, Dr. Howard, at work, when I came home, I think we all, and folks listening to us, can share a similar story. I come home, and no matter what, to Dolce, I was the king of the world.
That's right.
And his little self, he'd wag around, and his little body, but little in stature, but big in terms of personality and presence. And I'm telling you, Dr. Howard, this dog understood me. I'd say, Dolce, let's go. He'd come, Dolce, get in the car. He'd jump in the car. And then I went through just like the commercials that they do when you see them as puppies and they can bounce. And then he started getting older, and I had to help him get into the car. And so I would give anything, Dr. Howard, to have my dog back again.
And I can't recreate that, but you know what? Next time we can make it better. And think about that. When that dog, it was Dolce, right?
Yes, Dolce.
When Dolce, when you'd come home, that sweet dog was there and rub up against you. How did it make you feel?
Like $1 million.
Yeah.
And I sit down on the couch, and he's there laying at my feet, and he won't go away. He may go eat, but the loyalty.
And when you had a hard day at work, and you came home.
He made it better.
You felt better. And so I teach this to people all the time, and it's called the triad of health. You have a physical side of health, and you have a chemical side of health, and chemistry. I mean the chemistry that our body runs on. And then you have a spiritual side of health. Now, some people call it mental, some people call it emotional, spiritual, call it any one of those, but it's the same thing. And that is an energy. And that energy is so important. And so what I learned is there's so many people that part of their social life is that dog or that animal. I shouldn't say dog, that pet, because that is true energy, and that's a part of our health. And so when I learned I could help people feel better by making their pet feel better, then it became more and more important to me also. He handles their pet health. I handle the people health, and it just fits together.
Yeah, you guys look like Batman and Robin, a dynamic duo here. And again, I'm holding your book.
Now all we need is Cat Lady. No, I'm kidding.
So, Dr. Van Dyke, and let me give out the telephone number. And it's interesting because it's 888-388-PAWS, correct?
PAWS.
And that is 888-388-7297 to reach the company.
Yep.
And it's drfidos.com, correct? Yep. drfidos.com. And so,
can I say something?
Go ahead, you sure can.
Be sure and take that number down because it's important. We are a results-based company. I don't care about putting out money or people buying something or selling something. We're results-based. And some people might find that their dog or their cat is a little finicky on their food. Have you ever,
Of course.
Even changing over to a new dog food.
They'll let you know in a minute, I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
And they'll walk away, sniff, and just walk away.
Oh, I've got a great testimonial, which actually drew me greater into this company, is to help people with this because, we're there to help. Take that number down. We will help you transition your animal to being able to take good, nutrient-dense food because it works.
So Dr. Van Dyke, one more time, and then we'll talk about the product and what this is so important. So I want to make sure I heard you correctly. All of the advertising that's out there about how special dog food is and how good. I mean, I'm not going back to the days of Alpo, right? But how good and great this is for your dog. You're telling me that's nonsense?
Not every dog food is created equal.
Right.
But a lot of them are not very good. And there's a certain standard of nutrition that a dog food has to comply with in order to be marketed as a whole food. Our product, we're not trying to market it as a whole food. And in order to meet those requirements, companies are adding just whatever stuff to get their nutrition compliant.
Chemicals, though.
Yeah, chemicals, which most people don't realize that the body can't even digest those things anyways, and a lot of times causes inflammation, side effects, poor bowel health, poor hair health. There's just the list goes on and on and on of the problems that poor ingredients can cause.
So let me ask you something. Out of a percentage of people, and I know this is your professional opinion,
right,
but out of a percentage of people out there feeding their dog foods, what percentage of them would you say is feeding them a substandard? And it's a double question. And what percentage of them could benefit from putting Dr. Fido's phytonutrients as a food topper on their food?
I think most people generally try to feed the best that they can afford, but unfortunately that is still going to be a high percentage that is not feeding good enough.
Put a number to it.
I would say 70%. 70.
Wow.
I would say 70% of dogs are not getting great nutrition.
70.
Yeah.
And out of that 30% that is, would they still benefit from this?
Of course.
How?
Yeah. So, Dr. Fido's, because of its quality and the 40 good ingredients, fruits, vegetables, fibers, and spices that it contains, it's going to fill any gaps that your dog has in its nutrition, and it's going to really maximize the capabilities that the body already has, coming straight from God.
So what would each of you, Dr. Howard, starting with you, then on to Dr. Jake Van Dyke, what would you say to those that are unsure about plant-based pet nutrition?
One thing that I hear in my practice a lot is that people think that dogs should just eat meat. They're carnivores, which they eat meat only, which is not true. A dog is an omnivore, so an omnivore eats meat and fruits, vegetables, plants, anything that it can kind of scavenge in the environment, and we need to go back to that. That's the way that they were made. That's the way that they've evolved. Everywhere you look at it, they need a rounded balance of meat and fruits and vegetables.
I plead guilty. I'm one of those. But I screwed up. I screwed up because I go to McDonald's and I get a quarter pounder, and Dolce's standing there, and he's like, "What about me?"
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to help him with what you just
parent,
right with what you just said. So I'd order 2 hamburgers for him and just give him the burgers, and I was killing him, not realizing what I was doing. And then he developed diabetes, and it was over.
But and think about this: when a dog gets sick, what do they want to go? If you take them outside, what are they going to eat? Grass.
Right.
They'll go and eat grass.
Right. He would roll over in the grass.
Yeah, they know they need something from that. Well, we provide that. There's no added, this is really important. There's no added chemicals. There's no added vitamins. It's 100% natural, all from those thousands and thousands of phytonutrients that are in the fruits and vegetables and spices and the whole fiber that's in Dr. Fido's.
Dr. Fido's, I really believe this. Having met you once before, I really believe this. This is going to do better than Balance of Nature. And I don't know how that's possible, but I really do think it's going to. We're out of time. Is there any final thoughts? And when you guys are back in town, I really do want to have you back because as a pet lover, I can talk about politics anytime. In other words, that's secondary right now.
And I'll love talking politics.
This is important. And Dr. Jake Van Dyke, I love your book here. You're holding the kitten, which which is now my I really feel that my dog has taken on the personality. My cat has taken on the personality of my dog. Does my cat know that Dolce's dead?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We see all the time where one of the pets get lost in a household and they mourn. They go through through a mourning process where they know their buddy's gone, and it's pretty heartbreaking. One thing that's good and bad about my profession is I see the happiest time with the puppy and I see the saddest time at the end of life, and we just want to maximize in the middle.
What was that movie, Marley? What was that Hollywood movie, Marley? And he has to put him down at the end.
Yeah.
I swore that I would never go through that. And the call came, and they said, "We're sorry. There's nothing we can do. He's seizing. We recommend you get here immediately. We're gonna have to put him down." And I walked out of there crying like it was the worst day of my life.
And let me tell you, I'm not professing that we can make anything live longer. That's God's job. But if we can compress morbidity or illness into as small of a space as possible, then we increase the happiness as large as possible. And that's what we want to do.
Well, gentlemen, I'm out of time, but should I decide to get a dog again, and I don't know if I can, because it was just, you have them when everybody's telling us to wrap up, that I'm out of time here. But as you can see, I don't care about the politics right now. I want to talk about this nutrition for dogs, because this is real. Politics are phony. This is real that could save my next Dolce if I build up enough courage to get one. Last word.
We're going to help you.
Okay, and I'm definitely going to use it if I do the dogs taste it, or you have no idea?
Oh, they taste it. And
Okay.
and we work, and we'll talk about that next time. We help to teach people to work that into their diet.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Now, again, if you want the number for Dr. Fido's, it's drfidos.com, drfidos.com. The telephone number is 888-388-7297, 888-388-7297.
And Dr. Fido's, remember, is not Fido like Fido. It's PHYTOS.
One more time, because people will get confused about that. So drphytos.com.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for doing this. You're doing God's work. Thank you. I know this is going to do better than Balance of Nature, and that's not possible, but it's going to, because the dogs need it.
Many people care about their dogs more than they do themselves.
Absolutely. Gentlemen,
Definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming right back.